Hello everyone. I'm finally back drawing manga pages after I think it's been at least a week, hasn't it? So I've been really busy thumbnailing everything for chapter 11, but I'm very happy with how chapter 11's turned out in terms of my thumbnails. I'm really happy with the dialogue, because the main issue I was having with when I was going back over chapter 11 was rereading what I wrote already for it. And the thing is with my scripts, I think I wrote chapter 11's original script about three months ago or so. So it's been a really long time since I looked over that script again, and I felt like it was really missing some major character development moments for Larkin. So I've went in and redid that from the original script. So I rewrote like a big chunk of chapter 11. So that's where I am at with it now. So I'm really happy with it. Again, like Larkin's conversation later in this chapter is so much better than it used to be. Because again, it's like the big chapter that everything kind of needs to come together. Larkin as a character really needs to develop in this chapter. So, you know, obviously for him, he's quite a shy, introverted person. So in this chapter, you know, he's basically finally making a stand for himself and actually showcasing that actually he does care about what he's doing and, you know, how he's presented, and, you know, he's a lot stronger in this chapter, and that's exactly kind of what was missing from the first draft of this chapter. But it does mean that this chapter is 36 pages long, but it is worth it for developing Larkin as a character. And then Fletcher's got his own, like, side plot, as you will, in this chapter. But they will come together in the end, and it all kind of works out in the end. Which I think, like, people will know that it will work out in the end. It's just the process of getting there is a bit stressful, folks. But today I am drawing page 1 of 36 for chapter 10, so that is what I will be drawing today. So, and I get to draw Fletcher, and I feel like I haven't drawn Fletcher in ages now. So actually I'm going to get his hair wrap up, because otherwise I am just going to forget. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, so that's his hair wrap. And then I just need the front one, really. Go like that. Do all the flicks in his hair. Or stray strands, but even then, like, I always draw like his strands like really thick. But it just make him have an iconic hairstyle, I feel like. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. It's fairly warm here in the UK today. It's been raining actually for the last day, which is really needed because our gardens here in the UK are just suffering at the moment. So it would be good to have some rain, a bit more rain actually. So hopefully we'll get a bit more rain. It'll keep everything nice and healthy in our gardens. His hair looks a bit messy here. I don't know why that is. I wonder if it's the pen setting needs to be adjusted a bit. Like if I do it like, that's a bit too thin. I don't know, 60 maybe? If I do 60. Yeah, I think that's a bit better to work with. And put this on that way. This hair strand I've drawn in sketch a bit too low, but that's fine. And where is that? Come up. And this line just needs to be adjusted slightly here. Right, and then put that in. And then he's got a hair part going up here. And then just the outline of his hair here. I'm pretty sure I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I'm sorry for the alert, and I'm pretty sure it is on Do Not Disturb, but maybe I have a setting for something. This can make that smaller a bit. Also, I was good today. I brought some snacks with me because people remember from last stream, I was really hungry. And I always forget to kind of eat if I'm doing long streams. So I do have some snacks on me today. So I do appreciate if people can remind me to eat in about an hour's time. Although I will just forget to eat, which is not a good idea. Put shadows down here. Go out this way. Oh, I hate drawing the outlines of faces. Like for me, drawing the outline of faces is always like the hardest part of drawing the human body, I'll be honest, apart from like, I don't know, I really struggle with torsos as well, but drawing outline of faces always is a struggle for me. Draw down here. Yeah, that looks like his hair from here, so as long as it kind of looks like the center of his hair, it will do the job. And then his head needs to go a bit lower, that's fine. And then draw some more lines down here. And then I might reduce the line weight of this part here slightly. I don't think it needs to be as big. How many chapters? So just I'm drawing chapter 11 at the moment. Chapter 10's coming out tomorrow for the public release. So I'm working on chapter 11, but I have 36 pages I'm drawing for chapter 11. So in general with my manga chapters are longer than your average manga. So there's a lot of content, a lot of pages I've drawn over the years. And I don't know, how much would it work out now? How many pages am I in? So if we think there's an average of 30 pages, well, there's probably over an average. It's more like probably 32 pages, but if we times that by 10, ooh, so 300, and then I would add like another 20 on top, so I've probably done about 320 pages in total. Well, probably slightly more than that, but that's how many pages I've drawn for this manga so far. But yeah, I've been drawing the Thieves of Stuff and Death for 2 years now, so it's actually quite a lot of pages considering I don't work on the Thieves of Stuff and Death full time. For my manga that I've actually drawn. If I drew full time, like, I think I would have easily doubled that number by now, but unfortunately I do not work on it full time. It's just a hobby at the moment. Is this so satisfying to watch? I know. I feel like the big screen makes a whole difference. Like, I know a ton of people live stream their their comics and stuff like from their desktop, which is fine. Like I said, I quite like watching people just draw from their desktop, like just the screen of their desktop and everything. But I don't know. I just, for me, being able to also showcase my actual workspace, I feel like it makes it easier for people to visualize how I work. And I think in general, I think it makes you feel like you're more there. I don't know. But I'm glad it's satisfying to watch. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if people like this setup or if they just prefer me just drawing from a screen. But I feel like having my hand in view is really useful for people. I don't know. I'm testing things out at the moment. But to be honest, I do quite like this setup at the moment. And then I feel like his eyelash would go slightly lower for this panel. And then his pupil, why is he kind of looking off screen? That's not what I want. To be more looking towards us. That would do it. Even if he looks like he's looking slightly off screen, that's fine. Right, and then eyebrows. Go down that way. Angry brows, and it'll fold up there too. What's the character's name? So this is Fletcher. So he's like the secondary protagonist of the Thieves from Death. But yeah, he's the human with magic in my series. Compared to my other protagonist, Larkin, who doesn't have magic. I think I can get a photo of both of them up if you give me 1 second. You guys can see the new cover art I did for this chapter. For people who don't know, I'm working on the first page of chapter 11. I've restarted. Well, I haven't restarted, but I got to the end of chapter 10, so I've had about a 2-week break from live streaming a manga page. But yeah, so this is Fletcher, this is Larkin. But yeah, I'm literally on page 1 for chapter 11 at the moment. So, you know, it's, it feels, once you get to an end of the chapter, when you're starting a new one, you're kind of like, oh god, I've got 35 more pages to draw after this page. And I know it's going to take me a long time to get to the end of chapter 11, but man, I'm so, like, this chapter is like the big hurrah, right? Like, it's the final, I'd say, big moment for for arc 1. So, like, there's a lot of dialogue I'm really happy with in this chapter, especially with Larkin's character's developments. I'm really happy with the dialogue in this chapter, because it really, for Larkin's character development is so important. It's like everything leads up to this point, so thank you for showing them, Ethan, no problem. I feel like I could get better images of them up. I'll have a look. Can I go in Toy House? Oh yeah, look. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've got a ton. So, oh yeah, this is a new thumbnail I did for Webtoon Canvas, and I feel like I haven't shown this on TikTok. Because again, I don't know what post to make about it, really. Because I didn't record a time-lapse of it, and it's only something that people on Webtoon Canvas is going to see. So, like, I didn't know what to post about it. But this is Larkin, this is Fletcher. I feel like this is the better image to show, really, you guys, of my protagonist, but yeah. But yeah, I said I didn't know really how to share that artwork. Because again, I didn't really produce any content for it, so for me, I could have just posted an image, I guess, on TikTok, but I don't think it would have done that well. Oh, thank you for the flowers and the roses and everything. I'll be honest, guys, I still don't know what any of this stuff means that you guys are sending. I literally still don't know what any of it means. I still need to do research into actually what these things on TikTok actually do mean. And then, sorry, let me just get this down. So Give that me. On his tie is down here. And then, but yeah, for people wondering, chapter 10 is releasing tomorrow evening. I literally only one person who reads it, you know, before it comes out, because they are a Patreon supporter. So only one person has seen the chapter early, apart from my test readers. So literally, I don't think many people will know what's going on really in this page, apart from Sil, who I don't think is in the stream currently, but Sil would be the only person who would know what's going on, essentially. I feel like this would get a good laugh out of them, this page. But surprisingly, I don't have Malachi to draw until the end of this chapter. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be drawing him until page 35, folks. 35. Oh my word. It's going to be so long for him to be drawn. But Larkin, I think, will appear again in like 4 pages time. So again, he's not off screen for too much longer. But yeah, it's been since chapter 10. Fletcher hasn't been on screen for about 5 pages, so it'll be the first time seeing him again for a bit. But like I said, like, Larkin and Fletcher's paths will collide again during this chapter. It's just gonna take a while to get there. Alright, and then... Gonna bring that down, I think. How is this collar looking? I feel like it should end shorter here. And then that should do the job. Brilliant. Okay. And then that would do the job. I'm not gonna spend forever line arting. So let's crack on with the other pages. Alright, and then let's just highlight these. And then I've got a sword to draw. And so I might need to grab a reference image for that in a second. Yeah, okay. Alright, how am I gonna... I always struggle with, like, drawing people, like, swiveling their heads. This is exactly what I'm drawing for this panel. So let's figure this out. I feel like I don't even need his neck showing for this. I just kind of just need that going. I don't know. Have like some motion lines here maybe, and then draw the rest of his hair here. Up this way. Sorry, I am very much concentrating. I can't remember the last time I did an undo. And then he's got a bit of hair coming down here. Again, his ear is going to be kind of in line motion as well in it. So that comes down there. And his eye down here. Okay, that eye needs to be a bit more open actually. Highlight. Okay. That's a pretty good flasher. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good flasher. I'm currently working on a script / screenplay for a manga. I can't draw. Do you have any recommendations for where I can find freelance artists? Honestly, your best bet, if you're paying artists, if you've got the budget to pay for artists, go and just scout online, here on TikTok, here on Instagram, Twitter. There's some amazing indie manga artists out there who I would think would love to work on a long-term project with someone. So it's really worth just going and, you know, search like original manga on like the tag system, or indie manga on the tag system. There'll be a lot of amazing manga artists out there that you can find. And you know, just reach out to them if one of their art styles really calls out for them. Is that I'm working on a webtoon project that I'm under an NDA for at the moment, but I'm doing script writing for them at the moment. But they reached out to me because they saw my videos on TikTok, and they really like my stuff. So, so yeah, honestly, like just searching TikTok and, you know, any other social media platforms would be the ideal place to go. Stuff like Fiverr and stuff I wouldn't really trust or anything like that. There isn't really a specific site to track down comic artists, I'll be fair with you. At least none of that I'm aware of, so. We'll definitely try this method. Appreciated, no problem. Yeah, so that's how I got reached out to, was via TikTok. So, and yeah, I wanted to work with them. So, oh, there's so much detail for such a tiny panel fix. Ay, ay, ay. Right, and then did I want to draw some motion lines from his hand being raised here? I don't know. I don't think it's needed, really. Right, let me draw the rest of his face here. So his nose is here. Go down there, draw, and then he's got a hair tuft down here. Again, I feel like the motion line would disrupt that a bit. Then his hair go down there, that one goes down there, flick up. Again, I feel like a lot of his hair would be missing detail here just because of the motion lines. You're not going to see that eye, really, for the most part. And then his hair is going out this direction. Tie. Alright, and then let's draw the rest of his coat in. Go down here. Oh, I forgot to draw his fingernails. I mean, I doubt people would notice that I didn't draw his fingernails first. Just in case. I mean, to be fair, I don't think most manga draw fingernails for the most part, but right, and then I knew I wanted to bring his coat down more directly over his trousers here, but I was too lazy to do that to change his sketch at that point. That's fine, and then draw the rest of his top. Beautiful crotch area. And that line should go down there. Should bring that leg down first. Just make that leg a bit thicker overall. Then he's got a seam line for this trouser going down here. Okay. Go up this way. Right, and then his hand. I've been getting better at drawing hands recently. It's probably because I have to draw them at such far distances recently. But like, I've been less scared to include hands as frequently as I do. Like, I feel like I include hands in my drawings and my panels a lot more now than I used to. I think I just gotten more confident with drawing hands. Right, and then if we section that pleasure off. And then remove the gaps. Right, and then let me fix this up real quick. So we've got missing some there. We've got white outline here that we don't need. Oh yeah, and then I need to draw the shadow under his neck. We'll do that real quick. And then put that under there. Okay, and then it's the background for this panel now. So we need a vector layer. I'll change the pen that I'm using. Can we do that now? So if we get that going. Alright, and then that's like a pillar down here, and then draw the rest of the wall. Oh, that's way too thick, that. Right. And don't worry, I will make Fletcher stand a bit more from the background after I get the initial line out in for this background. But for now I'm just gonna leave him the way he is. And I need to get a drawing of a sword done as well in a second. Down that way, up there as well. Nice. And then just drawing now. And then let's turn off the ruler here. I'm gonna draw these pillars in. And then this one here. Right, and then that should be done. Apart from the sword. Right, let me quickly adjust Fletcher here for a sec. How am I going to do this? And I think if I just work a black outline around him, that should do the job. And then when I do screen toning, I will do kind of more of a white halo effect around him. But yeah, I'll do that once we get to screen toning, which is not right now. Right, and then actually I'm going to reduce some of the line weight behind him. I think actually if we go one more back, I think that would do him. And just one more on this side. Okay, that's fine. And then it's just a sword now, so let's do the sword. Actually, should I get a reference up for it? I feel like I need to get a reference up. Also, I'm just gonna make these lines. Well, that's thicker. There you go. It is this sword that I can't pronunciate. Let's quickly get this up. Yes, it's this sort of sword. It's a good reference I could use. I feel like I just need the handle really. I know what the blade looks like. I think this will do it. So freezes. You want that as my reference? What am I doing? Let's paste that in. Right. I don't know if you guys can see the sword ref, but it is over here in this little box here that I usually keep to the side. I do have it up here. Right, and then how am I going to do it? I don't, again, because it's so tiny, as long as I kind of get the gist of it in, I don't think, you know, when I do the more close-up of it, then that will, when it really matters. But for now, like, I know this is kind of holding it in place on the wall. So let's draw that in. And then the actual handle itself is like something I do not even understand. But hey ho, that's the joy of doing art. It's figuring out how to draw things that you've never drawn before. Then it's kind of like a little flower on top. I think that will do for how far that is in the distance. Yeah, okay. And then I will do twinkle effects once we get to screen toning as well. So that's fine. I'll leave that be for now. Right, so it's just these two panels now to line art. Oh, what did I do there? I think I just got away with doing that. There you go. Right, hand time. So we need panel 4, so that's a new folder. Vector line. Pen, let's draw the hand first because the hand's easier than drawing this sword. I don't realise this, but I draw a lot. I draw Fletcher with pretty elegant hands. Like his hands are pretty elegant whenever I do like close-ups of his hands. Like in reality, I think he's have a lot more like calloused hands, you know, so build up on his hands. Just because he does like so much like acrobatic stuff, you know, so. And then this to go back up. And then he's got like another joint down here. Well, I think like the stream went down on my computer for some reason, but I am definitely live streaming on my phone, so I don't know if that's just a me issue. Hello, starting out my own manga soon. Any tips for drawing wise? I'll have assistance for background and shading. I'm pretty good at drawing. Is it drawing wise? There's so much drawing wise I can give you advice about. But I guess like a simple one, if you're drawing a manga, right? What I always say is that, like, if you think of a manga panel, for example, right? Like, if you think manga panel, right? Like big panel, like a medium panel down here, like two mini ones down here, and like another big panel down here, right? Okay. What I always recommend, if you've got a character called like A, right? They're talking to B, right? Always keep A on the same side of the panel. So even when they're talking to B, like here, you want A to always be on that right side. And then you can have like a close-up of like A's eyes, like like that. And then B's eyes can be like that on the panel or something, right? And then like even on like a top down angle, like you always have A, B, so A is always staying on this side and B is always staying on that side. So that's kind of my top tip that I always give to artists, is always making sure that your characters are positioned at the same angle, if you can, on a page. Sometimes they're moving about on the page, which is fine, so you know it's not for everything, but if your characters are talking, like try and keep them just on the same side, unless they're moving about for whatever reason. That's my kind of top tip. When it comes to paneling, because again, I feel like paneling for a manga just is so vital for it, as well as lettering. It's like for lettering even, you want to kind of keep an S shape. So if I bring this up, you kind of want to keep it in S shape if you can. Is it like, and even your lettering can follow that S shape. Even if we're reading like this direction, it should be quite easy for the flow of the page to go through, right? So something to keep in mind too. But yeah, kind of you want to keep your text on that S shape if you can. So, but yeah, there's a lot of like little tiny bits that can just improve you know your manga quite drastically that most people don't tend to think about. But like it will, you know, for a reader, it's just trying to make it an easy reading experience as possible for them. Because if it's not easy to read your manga, then you know a lot of people will be, you know, off-putted by that. So I've always say that readability of your panels and your text is so important. What model tablet do you have? I have a Cintiq 32. So this is my baby. I think this is literally the biggest tablet on the market. I don't think there's anything bigger than this. And then over here in the corner, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of like that direction. That's my Wacom 28 down there. And that used to be the tablet I used to use at uni. Have you read Attack on Titan? I'm be kind of that around that story style and story and drawing for sword. Nice. I know that I haven't like read the entire manga, but I have watched the anime. So, but I know the art style of Attack on Titan. And I quite like it. I like how sketchy it is. As in, I'm more inspired by manga like The Grey Man for my manga series, so it's quite different from your inspirations, which is not a bad thing at all. And then, then let's increase this line. How long have you been drawing manga for? So the Thieves from Death, I've been drawing for just over 2 years now, and I've drawn over 300 manga pages for it. But like in terms of like learning how to draw comics, not very long at all. I think I'm coming on to like year 5 of drawing comics. At least that's when I started studying comics, was about 5 years ago. But yeah, the Thieves from Death is like only like 2.5 years old, like since I've started drawing it. But I mean, the 2nd year anniversary of the Thieves from Death releasing is on the 1st of June. So what is happening with this sword? Right, because I know that's being attached to the wall, so I don't know why my sketch is like no. So yeah, that's attached to the wall. So we'll bring that out to make it a bit more obvious that it's attached to the wall. And then we just correct that curve so it should go down that way. And then I can't remember, I don't have the reference image for this handle that I drew in the sketch originally, but I will just follow it and hope for the best, I think. But my lines should be a lot more steady than my sketch. But I'll pretty much stick to it, I think. And that's coming up now. This is why I should always save my reference images. Don't be like me. Save your reference images, folks. And then going that way. Right, and then I think that's looking pretty smooth so far, that's fine. Put the handle down here. My only flaw is possibly perspective and drawing hands. Oh, it's so hard. No, I feel you. I will say, like, drawing like comics and manga is the fastest way to learn how to draw. Like, you are forced to basically draw things that you usually wouldn't go out your way to draw. It is the fastest way, in my opinion, to improve your art skills. Like, I will tell you, like, at the start of the piece of stuff left, I was not confident at drawing hands whatsoever, especially perspective. Like, I didn't realize how many different angles I needed to draw in a comic until I started drawing a piece of stuff in there. So honestly, like, it is the fastest way to improve your art is drawing a comic. Because again, it's like, oh, I've never drawn like a sword before, and here I am drawing a sword. You know, so you are learning things that usually you would never go out your way to learn. So. But yeah, I'm a lot better at drawing hands than I used to be, but that's thanks to drawing this comic. And then that's the blade here. So that blade needs to connect with that one, so it should go more that direction actually. And then the hilts will go there. I don't know what this thing is, but I will include it if that was in the original ref, I guess. Yeah, and then if I just slightly reduce the line weight, I should have done the sword on different layers, but it's fine. I'm just going to reduce the line weight for the parts here. Because not all of this needs to be as thick as I've drawn it. How long did you spend writing the story? I've been writing mine about 7 months now and it's still going. So generally what I do is I write an outline for the first arc and then I write basically script by script. But the thing is, I didn't have all the scripts written whilst I was doing arc 1. But I did have a general outline and I knew what I wanted to happen in each chapter. So, you know, so basically I've been writing as I go. I think that's the easiest way to describe it, but usually I'm like 2 chapters ahead, like in my script writing usually. So I am basically written up until chapter 12 at the moment. Because chapter 12 is my final chapter before arc 2 ends. Sorry, arc 1 ends and then arc 2 starts. But I haven't written the outline for arc 2 yet. So, you know, I'm in a kind of a weird place with my writing at the moment, but usually I'm about 2 chapters ahead with my script writing. And then usually once I get to the chapter that I've, you know, been working on the script on, I usually then do several rewrites of it. So, you know, I've got a kind of a weird process. But yeah, I said definitely just again outline and get going. You know, maybe like write like 2 or 3 chapters ahead. You know, so that's what I do. Right, so I'm sorry, I'm just making the hand a bit thicker than the sword. Otherwise, it's just going to blend into the sword too much, which is not what I want. Right, that's fine. And then it's just this panel down here, that's fine. And I will probably draw that a sound effect once I do it. I want that. Okay, thank you. Right, panel 5. And then when I was sketching this out, I didn't realise that I drew a left hand here, so technically the hilt of the sword should be in this hand, so that's why it's thinking now that way. But originally I was thinking, oh, it should be in this hand, but it's not. And I was too lazy to redraw him entirely again, so we're just going to stick with this. Alright, and then let's get Fletcher's full ref rate up actually. Where is he? Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let's go that way. And it would be this one here. Also, I really want to buy some manga. But I really need to sell some of my like really old manga off, like I've had for almost 10 years now. I want to kind of sell some of my manga that I've have and not really a fan of anymore. But I need to get the motivation in me to actually put a listing up and sell those series. But yeah, I really want to buy more manga, but I also need some shelf space. So I think I need to sell some of my stuff before buying any more. What am I drawing next? That's his hair. Should I draw his hand in place? Because I guess that is in front of everything else. And it's like his knuckle here. Okay, you're not going to see all of this detail considering how small this panel is, but... And then that goes down that way, and then... that way. Imagine drawing a manga just for a manga itself to be a flop. Well, I'll be honest, bro, like, this is just for myself. I don't really care if it gets popular or not. Like, for me, this is just my passion project. It's not even my full-time career or anything. It's just something for myself. But if other people enjoy it along the way, then I'm glad. And I know people do, so... The aim for me isn't to be popular, it's just to get other people who might be interested in my work to check it out and hopefully enjoy it, so... But yeah, mainly for me, this manga is first and foremost for myself. It's a story I've had in my head for ages, and I just want to tell it, you know, so whether or not it's popular or not, it doesn't really bother me. That's the passion that gets you in places, though? Absolutely. Like, the thing is, you kind of got to be obsessed with making manga to get anywhere with your manga in general. Like, if you're not obsessed, then you're not going to create. And, like, only, like, I would say, like, people who want to become mangaka, like, maybe only, like, 1% ever follow through with making a comic, you know? So, I am very much in the minority of people who have actually made a comic, has released a book, which is probably an even smaller percentage, and getting myself out there and now working for a webtoon project that I can't disclose on now. So it definitely gets, you know, passion really does drive you, you know, in this industry. But, you know, if you're passionate about your work, then that, you know, passion should spread to other people, you know, so... And for me, I'm all about supporting other manga artists as well. So I like seeing other people succeed and tell, you know, their passion projects as well. But yeah, for me, it's not about the attention. I feel like I'd hate being famous. So for me, I maybe try for it as much. I don't know if that makes sense. Plus, I know that my series doesn't have a massive appeal, you know. So it is very like hyper niche to people who kind of like Case City of Vanitas, Bungo Stray Dogs, Black Butler, Moriarty the Patriot, like those sort of people. So, you know, it is like a certain audience, and I'm trying. I feel like would like my work, but or you know, in general, like for me, it's like creating a manga that would appeal to British audiences who are not necessarily into manga. So like the point of my project is a bit different, I feel like, to a lot of other people's projects. How do you publish yours? So I published through... Oh, well, I'm self-published, so I publish through a printer company. I let me see if I can get the book actually. Give me 1 second. So there you go. That's volume 1 of my manga. So that's a whole volume, and it's got like color pages inside, and yeah, if you want to, that was released last March. So last year in March, this volume was released. But again, like I think I've sold over 50 copies of this now. So I feel like for someone who's very small, I've sold a lot of copies. So well, I'll keep tuned on my manga. Then, if you're gonna support me, I said I will always support other people. Like I'm a part of like a small indie group who have people who have published with like Tokyo Pop, Viz Media, people who do their own independent projects with like Japanese artists. Like I'm in quite a small group of people who are quite serious about making manga. So. You know, I'm always about supporting creators who want to, you know, create manga or manga-inspired comics or whatever you want to call it. Is that anything that people are passionate about, I like to try and share around, you know, so... That's so cool. Tell me how you do that, please. I don't know. I think it used to be like a general Discord server. I just searched it whilst I was looking through Twitter, and it had like minimal post engagements. So I joined the Discord, and then that Discord turned into like a private Discord group chat now. But yeah, it said it's like a little group of us, and we're planning on hopefully doing like a little indie magazine in the future to feature like independent creators' work. So like my work, other people's work. Who are just creating their own stuff, you know, so... But yeah, I mean, I'm friends with quite a lot of successful people in the manga sphere, so... You know, I just don't talk about it much. But I am. And they've supported, you know, Defeated Stop and Death since chapter 1, so... I do feel quite honoured to be friends with them, you know, so... How did you manage to have your own book published physically? Again, I just self-published. So literally, if you go and find like your local like printing company, like book printing company, usually they can just offer you a quote for, you know, how many copies you want made, and they will print it out. And like I bought an ISBN number as well, so it can be put in bookstores or in libraries even. So like it's quite easy to self-publish. Like, you know, if you know like right websites, right printing companies, like it's quite easy to self-publish. It's just buying the ISBN numbers can be quite expensive if you're only buying one. So I'd recommend buying a batch of them, honestly, if you're planning to create multiple books. But like I've got 6 copies of Defeated Stop and Death in libraries at the moment. So how much did that cost? Depends, because I've published multiple versions of this one. So this one, I think, if you're talking about per volume, how much it costs for me to produce each volume, it's about £4.50. But I sell it for $14.99. Because again, like, considering how much work is put into this, you're talking like a year and a half of free labour put into this volume of manga. I do kind of need to get some of the funds back, but it's about £4.50 production of each volume. But again, like I've made multiple variants of this over the years, so... Right, and then Oh, did we need his coat to kind of hang down here a bit? I feel like, oh, my eye's twitching. I don't know why my eye's twitching. And then we need depression lines. Where are my depression lines? Is it in effects? Yeah, it is in effects. Okay. Right, and then if I... Okay. And then... There we go. Yeah, it's about £4.50. It depends how many books you're paying for. Sorry, I'm just doing a puzzle to allow me to live stream for longer. Yeah, it depends how many books you're buying. For example, like I bought recently a batch of 80 copies of Defeated Stuff and Death, just to stock up on what I have, because my old versions of Volume 1, I am almost sold out. I think I have like 3 copies left of my old editions. So I really needed some new editions. So this is one of the new editions. But like in the old editions, I had, I don't know, I think I bought 40. So, but again, like because I bought 80 of this variant, it does come in a bit cheaper than my old editions costed, you know. So like I think my older editions probably costed me like £4.80. You know what I mean? So you do save a bit of money if you buy more stock. So. But like I use like a local British company to print out my manga. I know a lot of people will just go and buy from China, which is fine. China's a lot cheaper if you want to print your manga out for a lot cheaper. But personally, myself, because my manga is set in Britain, it's very British. I'd rather support printing companies here in Britain. So that's why I opt for a British printing company. So. Right, and then we want a shadow underneath. I just know I'd learned so much from this channel. I have tons of like tips and stuff on my TikTok page. If you scroll down further enough, you'll find some of those videos. So honestly, like, you know, I feel like, you know, if you want to learn how to create manga, like, my channel is probably a really good space, because I do record a lot of my process. Well, I try to record a lot of my process if I can. Oh, you're from Cumbria. I'm from Wiltshire. Yeah, so the manga, though, is set in Bath. So it's a completely different location, but not that far from me, Bath is. So, but yeah, I live in Wiltshire, so... I followed you, to deserve it. Thank you. I'll probably follow you back if I remember to after the stream. If you're also a fellow manga artist, I will try and follow you back after the stream. And then shadows, environment. Where are you? Dun, dun, dun. And then if we shave that part off slightly, and then just make that slightly smaller. Alright, and then the sword's down here, so should I just copy and paste it from the other panel? I feel like that would be easiest. Mine is going to be set in a world of its own, but similar to Earth, keeps away from the real political clash. Yeah, that's kind of the same with the Future Stuff and Death. It is essentially just a fantastical version of late Victorian era England, just without a lot of the bad stuff, you know. So for me, like, I just want to be able to draw people of colour without having to bring up, you know, racism and all of that stuff that was really prevalent in the 1800s. For me, it's like, that's not fun for me to write about, so I'd rather just not include it at all. But yeah, it's set in like a fantastical version of Bath, so I no means, you know, I'm trying to be historically accurate or anything. So But you know, I don't try and mislead people to say it's historically accurate, because it's not. So. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of manga who, you know, are historically accurate to the Victorian era. Mine's just not one of those series. Working on my own comic, it's Frank Smiles Sin City like, but I'm sure there's transferable lessons. Yes, yeah. He said, hopefully, I know my inking's probably not as strong as the stuff you see in Sin City, but if you use Clip Studio Paint and stuff like that, I feel like there'll be a lot of tips from my channel that you'll probably learn quite a lot from. So, and you know, I go into like manga writing and manga drawing specifically. So I don't know if that would be up your street, but again, maybe some of those tips would help you out too. I bought Clip Studio EX a while ago. Yeah, it said that's what I use. I use Clip Studio EX. Yeah, it keeps the confusion away. Exactly. And you know, I would not enjoy writing anything like that, especially if I didn't have someone on board with me who would be a lot more knowledgeable, you know, or a sensitivity reader, right? So, but yeah, for me, it would not be something that I'd enjoy writing or exploring, really. So that's why I've not included it. Speed lines. How am I gonna draw this? I think I might just draw it by hand, because I don't think any of my brushes will help here. So I might just draw this by hand. Do it the old-fashioned way. So if we get a white pen and then a black outline, and then it should kind of drop down there. And then it's kind of like a little down there, and then it should go down there. I will fix this up a bit more. I will add more detail to this. I just need to know where the action line needs to go. Let's restart. Oh, that'd be better to do. If I go that way, and then it kind of like goes that way, and then it skirts off this way on the ground. I'm just trying to think. I guess it'd be like something like that. I hate drawing action lines. Do you have a Discord? I would love to pitch my manga with you. Spoiler-free summary, of course. Yeah, I do have a Discord server. I do not know if the link on my lit link is working at the moment. I will update it really quickly though. Give me 1 second. I will just grab one from the server I'm in. Let me quickly do that now. So it is Discord. Yeah, I don't think this link. I don't know if this link works. So I'm just gonna quickly adjust it. Invite people. Copy on. I don't want it to expire some days. I just want it to be never. And then generate new link. Copy that. Save that. Right, there you go. If you go to my lit link, you can join my Discord on that link. It should be working, because you literally just saw me generate it, so hopefully it works. Oh, actually, I don't know, maybe it's better for me to draw a right line? And then what am I gonna do? What am I going to do, Elodie? I guess I could always add some speed stuff on top of it. And then let's make this one a bit smaller. Okay, that looks a bit better. That's fine. This is going to be like such a plain background anyway. I'm not, as long as this looks clear, that's the main thing. Just 27 now, brilliant. Let me just quickly make you a member. There we go. I will remember this. There we go. Brilliant. And then, oh, I think I forgot to do one person here as well. Let me just do that. There we go. Well, I'm glad the link's working. That's the main thing for me. The link is working to the Discord now, so... Right, and then how am I going to draw this floor? I haven't thought this far about the floor. Let's have a look here. Where can I put your summary? If you just put it in, like, share your work, I think that would be fine. So there's a server that, you know, if you're a manga creator, you're an artist, you're a comic artist, you can just post your stuff there. Because again, like, the point of my Discord server is, you know, obviously it's for fans of my work, but it's also a place that if you're a creator, we can just share each other's work. So... You know, it's not just solely a place for my comic, you know. It's to support other creators and their work as well. Alright, and then if we just shade the outlines here, because again, I don't want every blooming brick drawn. And then it's just the line here that I need. It's like it's like here maybe. That's fine. And then I just the sound effect, I guess now. Let's throw the sound effects in. It's just like I was thinking like a clink. I think we'll do it than a clang. I don't feel like a sword would make a clang. It would be more like a clink. I think that's the sound it would make anyway. So if I just do clink, sorry, I'm just naming my folder here. Clink, lettering brushes. Where are we? I want a pretty strong pen. I feel like for the lettering here, it would be like. Oh, this is when you guys can see my horrendous lettering skills. Clink. If I do it that direction, I think it makes it a bit more clearer. Clink. Maybe if I draw some... I don't think that helps. I think if I just leave it like that, maybe. That's the clink. Alright, so that's the lettering done for that. Alright, and I'm just going to preview it quickly. Because I don't know how this is actually looking like from a double spread point of view. But yeah, feel free just to post your stuff and share your artwork. Cause I will have a proper look at it. once I finish live streaming. So hopefully once this page is done. That's pretty good. Okay, I feel like we can just start on the screen toning, and then we'll adjust like all the background elements as we go. Especially here, because I need to draw some stars here, but I will do it whilst I'm screen toning. So let's do this. Now, I didn't know how pissed I wanted Fletcher to look in this panel. Because again, like, it's, if you don't know the Thieves still from death, Fletcher's not on good terms with Malachi. Really at all. He really dislikes Malachi. So I was wondering how pissed to draw him here. I feel like he'd be more like pissed off annoyed rather than like really pissed off, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. So I didn't know if I wanted just to go in with like a 30 or something, if I get 30, but I don't know. I feel like I could just draw him in normally and then just add some heavier shadows to usual. I feel like that's the way to go with this panel. You just posted your summary now? Brilliant. I'll take a look after the stream, and then I can properly be in the right headspace as well to give, you know, my thoughts about it. So it said there'll be other people in the Discord as well, so I'm sure they'll chime in as well. So right, and then shadows and Fletcher's hair. I feel like I always use like probably screen tones the way that Japanese manga artists really do not use screen tones in. But I guess that's kind of what makes my work maybe a bit more unique. Well, as you will, more British maybe, I do not know. Right, and then doing that. It should be shadow down here really. Slightly back here. And then go that way. And then put some highlights. Right, and then should we do Fletcher's shirt now? I think if I do his shirt and then I'll do shadows on his face last, maybe? If I just get everything down. And then his shirt would be slightly darker than that actually. Let's bring that back up. I just want a slight gradient on it. Right, and then let's do some heavy shadows. Also, I was very good today. I have my phone on charge whilst I'm live streaming, so my phone shouldn't die now whilst I'm live streaming, because that seems like it keeps happening and it's not my intention to, you know, my phone to almost die by the time I reach the end of my live streams. But I've changed that today. My phone now has a charger on it whilst I'm live streaming. I've learned from my mistakes, folks. Any clip studio tools you'd recommend? I mean, there's so much. Like, if you tell me like something that you specifically are looking for, I could probably tell you what I use. I think that's the best way for me to show off some of my brushes, because I don't just use Clippy, I use gold as well. So I have bought gold from Clip Studio Paint store before. But yeah, if there's anything like specifically brushes wise that you like me to show you that I have, I can totally show you that, and you know, show you where it is on the Clip Studio Asset store. Because you know, I create my own brushes as well, so. Well, I imagine streaming takes a lot of battery. Yeah, but also the thing is, I keep my phone on full brightness, which is, I don't think has been helping. Like, I should have just been live streaming with like the brightness all the way down. But it does take a lot from the battery, and you know, for my Google Pixel, I feel like it dies a lot quicker than my Honor 50. I don't think it has as long as a battery life compared to my old phone, unfortunately. Oops, I just realised I created 250 layers. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's do that. Fill that back in. Right, and then let's go with 60. Also, how are you doing today, Sil? How are you doing over in America? Is that it's still quite warm here in the UK, but we had some rain recently, which is what we really needed, to be fair. I just hear my cat meowing downstairs, so I might just quickly let her out of the house. So give me 1 second. Alright, sorry, I'm back. I just let my cat go, so. Sorry, you probably just saw my chat for a second there. It's 7 in the morning and I haven't been up early in like a week. It said that's the difference with me today, because I've been waking up at 7 like consistently for like the last 2 weeks for whatever reason. And I woke up at 7 this morning and then I went back to sleep. I've been working for like the last 5 days. So I really needed the lion. I didn't know you had a cat. Yeah, I've got a cat called Tiffany. She's very cute. You've probably seen my dog, right? Oh, my sister's dog. Because my sister's over in Australia, for people who don't know. So we've got her dog at the moment. So yeah, I said we actually have a cat though. That's actually in the household. That's what we own. So. And she's very sweet. She's kind of like a Siamese cat, but she's not a Siamese. She's a Moggy, so. Yeah, never the cat. Maybe I'll post some photos on Twitter at some point, or my Instagram story. I'm going to be using a good chunk of grey tones on the manga, if you have any tools for that. The bucket tool is your best friend. But apart from that, the shaving brush that I use, I don't know what's this. Is it just the same name? Let me have a look. I can show you what. If I can get it up, I can show you which shaving I use. Oh yes, I can get it up for you. Here we go. How has your week been? Busy. I felt so tired recently. I've been really busy with my library assistant job. But I mean, it's been enjoyable, but just really tiring. So for me, I can finally have a break, and it's bank holiday weekend for us Brits here in the UK. So I'm not working Monday this week, which is really nice. And I got my main sort of thing needing to hand in for my NDA guy at the moment. So I am just waiting for him to get back to me. So basically, I can just concentrate on the future stuff and death at the moment for this weekend. So in that way, I feel very good. So because it means I can work on this and get chapter 11 started and worked on For people who don't know, Syl's literally the only person, apart from my test readers, who have probably read chapter 11. I don't know, sorry, chapter 10. I don't know if Syl has or not though, but I have seen that you like the Patreon post. So you're kind of the only person who knows what happens in chapter 10 at the moment. Until tomorrow. But I also need to work on a Q&A. So I'd like to start working on that this year. Sorry, this week. Not this year. This week. This weekend, maybe. Let's start on that. But yes, sorry. This is the shaving brush that I use. And I highly recommend. It's only 20 clippy. Alright, so it's not a lot. But this is my favourite, like, shaving brush. It's what I kind of use for, like, all of my backgrounds. Like, even the gradient kind of on his coat here. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can turn off the 50. You kind of see this gradient here. I use this brush for that as well. It is my go-to like shaving brush and hatching brush. I highly recommend you get it. I like it in my work. I feel like it looks good with my art style, you know what I mean? So no, bank holiday weekend in terms of like I've got Monday off next week and I am not working for the rest of this week because in my library assistant post I only work Monday, Tuesdays and every other Saturday, and I'm not working this Saturday. So I actually got the Saturday. I'm not working this week, so I was only in Monday, Tuesday, but I was in covering for someone yesterday, so that's why I've been busy. And then obviously I was working last Saturday, so really I've only had Sunday off in the last few days. You found it brilliant. Yeah, that's the shaving brush that I recommend that you use. It really helps with your screen tones. Again, highly recommend just to use like the standard gradient, manga gradient in Clip Studio Paint. That's what I use all the time for just gradient stuff, especially for backgrounds. But yeah, in terms for toning, though, I don't think I use much else apart from those three things. So I revel in my Patreon benefits. I do not provide much from there. I do apologise. I honestly, I would be very happy to upload like some of my Clip Studio Paint as files on there, but I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. So I don't even know if you use Clip Studio Paint, but I'm more than happy. Like if there's like a page that you want me to upload on there, I'm happy just sharing the file on there for you. Usually that's for my $10 patrons, but you are my only patron at the moment, so I don't mind sharing a file with you. You're a Critter user? Well, that's I used Critter at the start of my digital art era on like my PC. So that's very nostalgic to me. But yeah, is it well, if you were using Critter Studio Paint, I would have been happy just to share it with you. But if you're a Critter user, then I apologise. Right, and then how do I want to make Fletcher a bit angry? Let's have a look. I could let's do a heavy shadow here. I guess that would work. Kind of like that maybe. I feel like I did something similar for like Taliesin. I feel like in the previous chapter, in like chapter 10 or something, and I quite liked it back then, so I might do it here. Clip Studio looks way more useful though. Yeah, but it's also more techie compared to Critter. So it depends if you like techie stuff. Yeah, I feel like Clip Studio Paint can be like really overwhelming, but I mean you can customize it so it's less overwhelming. But it is very much like a technical program, but I don't think it's as tech heavy as something like Photoshop. But yeah, is it but like for like manga, anime illustration, it really is the go-to software, isn't it? Apart from like Paint Sci or Paint, I don't know, is it like Paint 2.0 Sci? Which if for illustration purposes, if you just do illustration, that seems like a really good program as well. So yeah, but so for like comic production, like Clip Studio Paint is like the place to go. Right, and then his eyes are 30, so let's do that. Oh, I just touched the canvas on accident. Also, like, I realised that this might just be a me thing, but I don't ever like tilt my canvas. Like I don't ever tilt my canvas on my PC. Like unless I'm like drawing something very specifically in that dimension and it's tilted to its side, I literally do not rotate my canvas. How do you draw straight? I do not know. Maybe I just had a lot of practice drawing in this way. But the thing on my iPad, I do tilt the canvas, but on Clip Studio Paint, I just don't. I don't know why that is. But no, it's something that I've noticed that I do, and I don't know why I do it. Oh, let's do the background for Fletcher here. How are we doing this? How are we doing this, Elodie? What software is this? This is Clip Studio Paint EX. So it's a more expensive version of Clip Studio Paint. That's the program I'm using currently. Right, and then backgrounds. Do I kind of want to go cartoony for the backgrounds? You guys are just going to get me playing around for a bit now. Let's have a look. Monochrome. Effects. Stark. I'm just going to see if I've got any like background stuff that might be good. I don't know. I could for this background, because he's talking about Malachi, I could use his clothing pattern behind him for Fletcher, or I just need to put a white background behind him. 1 second. I could do like Malachi's like swirly pattern behind him, because I feel like that would work, because again that represents Malachi. And just do that. And then I can bring him out from the background like this. Let me just move that down part down there. And then if I select that and then maybe do like, I don't know, like a downtone gradient down there. I kind of like that. I kind of like that, but just because it represents Malachi a bit. So... Are you making a webtoon? Not a webtoon, but I am making a web comic slash manga slash physical manga. You can call it whatever you like, honestly. I don't care. But I am creating a comic, so that is what I am doing, yes. I write and I draw everything in this comic. I'm just trying to tidy up the white outlines here. Oh, it is a webtoon? Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know, when people ask me, like, is it a webtoon? It's like, yeah, technically, but also, it's not a vertical scroll format comic, so, I'd love if I had all the time in the world to convert it to a vertical scroll format, but also, that would be, like, a pain in the butt to do. It would take me so long to do. Like, it would be so much extra hassle. But I wish I kind of did do it in the start, because I feel like I would have gotten a lot more webtoon readers if I did it that way. But it is what it is now. It's all uploaded in pages on webtoon canvas, so... Right, and then I'm just going to preview this from afar too. Give it like 10 years for it to load. There we go. Okay. Oh, you really like how colourful this page is. I'm quite pleased with how this turned out. I quite like the rectangle background. No, this looks good. I'm quite happy with that background for Fletcher here. So, great. Right, and then I guess we'll work on Fletcher over here now. Tiny Fletcher. And then I'll figure out how to do that head swipe properly as well. Right, so that's just his coat going in. Right, and then let's add some shading to this. I need to eat the colouring, thank you. I've been really having fun like doing like colour schemes of Larkin and Fletcher that kind of resembles their original colour scheme, but isn't their original colour scheme. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of fun to do. It's kind of giving like JoJo kind of colouring vibes. You know what I mean? It's just like I go for like a completely like different sort of colour scheme for my characters. Like, it's really fun. Like I can see why the creator of JoJo does it the way that he does. It's kind of fun to do it in that way. And for me, it's like this chapter is gonna be, I feel like, quite emotional for a lot of people. So I feel like I do need to have a somewhat happy cover, folks. So that's why I opted to do the cover the way that it is. So. Do you have any tips on how to draw digitally on a pen touch tablet? Honestly, as long as you go into your pen presser, I can't speak today. Pen presser sensitivity settings on your tablet, and make sure you get it to like a comfortable area of range, so you're not pressing it as hard on your screen all the time. That's what I highly recommend you go and do if you haven't done that already. Apart from that, what I also recommend to do is, when I have a big tablet like this, I'm quite zoomed out already. But I always recommend to draw like at a distance if you can. Like, don't be zoomed all the way right in, because otherwise I feel like you missed a bigger picture. So, but again, like, I have a big tablet, so it's not really an issue for me as much as it is probably for other people. And then I always recommend having like stabilization on your brushes. That's why I also recommend that you do have on as well. Sorry I just spit. Do not worry. Like, I don't expect people to hang around for the entire stream at all. So please do not apologise. I do stream for quite a long time when I'm working on these pages. So please don't feel bad. Alright. And then his cuff's a bit darker than everything else, that's fine. What size is the tablet? It's a 32-inch. It's a very big tablet. It's a massive tablet, honestly. Like, I don't know, like, okay, for example, this is my hand, and my hand is pretty small, right? Okay, this is my hand, alright? So imagine someone else's hand probably gets out to here, right? Like, an average hand probably reaches out to here. So that's how big my tablet is. I feel like my hand is a bit deceiving when I'm drawing with a pen, so I feel like that represents it a bit better. Right, so that's his tie. Ooh, do I draw his hair now? I'll draw his hair now. We'll tackle the head swiping situation here. Right, and then hair down there. Right, and then shadow. Right, there's definitely some parts I'm missing that 10%, but I will go back and fix that in a second. What was the places I missed? Let's have a look. And it was the upper tie here that I missed completely. Oh yeah, okay, and then there's a bit of hair tuff here. Right, and then I don't think I will screen tone Fletcher's eyes just because like the pixel quality gets so small up here. I don't think it really matters if I don't tone his eyes in here, so. And then that goes up here. See, look how far he is in comparison to the entire page. Would you recommend that tablet? I currently have an XP Pen Artist 15.6 Pro. I'll be honest, like the tablet you have is very good. Like I honestly wouldn't rush to change it. Like a 15 inches, I think a very nice size. Yes, I started out with a 13 inch, and I found like the 13 inch maybe a tad too small for myself. But like a 15 is like, I think I would be happy with that size short tablet. And the XP Pen I've heard is very good, but I have a Wacom, so obviously this is quite an expensive tablet, and I'll be fair, I wouldn't change it for anything else in the world. Now I have it, like, I would not go back. But having a tablet this sort of size is not for everyone. Like, I know people who had tablets like this size and absolutely hated it. But I adore it. It is my favourite thing in the world. So it is really personal preference. I was lucky enough to see this tablet out in person before buying it, so I kind of got a good gist if I liked it or not. So, and before that I had a 28, so I knew that I would be okay if I went slightly bigger, you know. So, do you need computer science for animation? No. I mean, I did do computer science for GCSEs back in the day. I got like a 6, I think, in GCSE computer science. But you definitely don't need it to go into animation. Like, if anything, all they want is good artistic portfolio. And then they will teach you everything to do with animation once you go onto that university course. You got a 3 on the GCSE? Oh no. It was horrible. I was supposed to get higher in my computer science test, but I guess, like, for some reason my teachers didn't teach us everything, so it is what it is. Like, I do some coding here and there sometimes. Again, that's like more of a hobby more than anything else. But yeah, so my IT test was like, my computer science test was horrendous. And that was back, how long ago was that? Like 2018? I took my GCSEs. So, yeah, it was a while ago now. I bet that, to me, like, that doesn't sound that long ago, but I'm sure to some people who are very much younger than me, probably feels like I am old. Trust me, I'm really not that old. I am 23. I'm not that old. I've never had computer science in school, so I just did art GCSE and got 8. That's really good. I got a 7 at art GCSEs. And I did, basically, when I went to college, I did an art and design extended diploma. So literally my entire, like, higher education has always been in arts. I didn't do it at the A level and anything else. I was going to have a 5, but the teachers hated me and always had me under pressure. Horrible. I feel you with that. For us, during when I was having GCSEs, we just didn't have enough IT, like, computer science teachers, and they were stretched so thin. Like, the teaching quality was just not there, unfortunately. Like, it really just was not there. And I was like, I think one of 2 girls taking computer science at GCSEs. So I think that was like another beast altogether. But I really enjoyed computer science at GCSEs. But yeah, it's just unfortunately the teachers just weren't fully there, you know, so I didn't do RGCSE, but I somehow have a gift of drawing. I said, to be fair, I don't think I didn't seriously consider taking art GCSEs until year 9. Like, for people who don't know, I had quite severe speech and language disorder when I was younger, so I was getting support for my speech and language disorder going into secondary school. So it meant that during year 8, I completely missed all of my art classes for an entire school year. Because I had like a extra class, as you will, to support me with my speech and language disorder. And man, I didn't realise how much I missed doing art until I missed a whole year of not doing it in school. And then obviously during year 8, I really had a passion for creating art. And I will say that started me in art, and that's why I took it more seriously whilst I was in year 9 and then took it for GCSEs. So that's kind of my path into why I started taking art a bit more seriously. But even then, like, I was really into anime back then. Like, I was like the only person who watched anime at my school. I didn't know anyone else who watched anime. If anything, I got my friends into anime. So a lot of my friends that I went to school with got into anime because of myself. So, but at the time, like, anime wasn't like one of my main art influences. It was very much like traditional art. I was kind of more into. But yeah, to be fair, at that point, like in like year 8, year 9. I wanted to be an author more than I ever did an artist. But I guess the world of comics married those two worlds together. So I think that's why I landed on comics. For why I enjoy it so much. It's because I've always had a passion for writing, and now I have a passion for art. So combining those two things means comics. So... Have you watched and read One Piece? I've watched like 20 episodes of One Piece, and I couldn't get into it. Like, I wouldn't. It's not that I didn't like it, because I did like it. I just didn't like it enough to continue with it, if that makes sense. I would rather spend my time watching other shows, but like maybe one day, I don't know. It really depends if I ever have more time in the future, which I just don't think I will, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to draw the background because I feel like I've been chatting and not drawing. Well, now I stopped something here. 1 second. You ended where I started getting into it. If you watched 5 more episodes, you would have been so hooked. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Maybe I missed a bullet, even. I mean, if I got hooked, I mean, I'd still be watching it now, wouldn't I? So, but look, I might not have seen all of One Piece, but I am up to date with Detective Conan, folks. So, I am in a completely other long haul with another series. So... It's just not a series that I think a lot of people from Britain has ever seen or read, you know, so... Do you know any extracurriculars I can take for animation? Honestly, what I'd recommend is go and attend some life drawing classes. If you can find any local life drawing classes, go and take some life drawing classes. And you need, I feel like, if you're applying to university, get a good like portfolio together, so like have some like experimental stuff in it, because that's what art school's like, but also show what you're really passionate about. So if you've got any like test animations, include that in there. Like, all they want to see is that you've got a passion for art and you just draw and draw and draw and draw, and you're really passionate about learning. Like, that's what people at universities want to see. You've got a passion to draw and a passion to learn. Like, they can teach you all the skills at university. Like, that's what they're there for. They just want to see that you've got a passion and a drive to doing animation. So that's what your portfolio should kind of represent. At least you've watched Attack on Titan. Yeah, you said yeah. I watched Attack on Titan so long ago now. So I can't, because I got into anime 2015, I think. 2015 I got into anime. So Attack on Titan was obviously very popular at the time I got into anime, because I think, did Attack on Titan come out in 2013? God, has it really been that long? I think it came out in 2013, right? So it was such a long time ago. So it was like one of the first anime I watched was Attack on Titan. It came out in 2013, ended 2023. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it started in 2013. I said, I thought my memory served me right. It said the first anime I watched was Your Lie in April, which I think came out in 2015. So... why is this not colouring in for? There must be some sort of white thing down here that's stopping everything. What's happening here? Is there like a panel that's causing it? There is. It's panel 2. What is panel 2 doing? Okay. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Right, and then I don't want to add too much detail to that background. But again, because this shot is so detailed anyway, I want to keep this one fairly simple. I don't want it to be too distracting. And then that's P3. Go behind there. How the heck have you made the tones fade? I don't know if you can see. I might have to bring my camera over here. Cause I don't think you guys can see fully. But if you see over here, I'm on like my gradients here, and there's something called Manga gradients. So you can just drag a line and it will create a gradient for you. So that's how I make like my tone so smooth. It's usually a Manga gradient I'm using. Sorry, let me just quickly put you guys back to normal. Thank you very much for the follows, everyone. I really appreciate it. It really helps my channel keep going and keep going better. What app? I use Clip Studio Paint. What you've done for the panel is the type of stuff I want to do since it looks so clean. Yeah, gradients. Gradients are your best friends. I heavily screen tone my manga, but like honestly, I'd recommend, if you like my sort of style, go and study Moriarty the Patriot, because Moriarty the Patriot does screen tones a very similar way that I do screen tones. No problem. So hopefully that helps you out. But yeah, I said Your Lie in April was the first anime I got into. I was a part of the YouTube days where anime was split into like different parts. That's how I got into anime, because someone illegally uploaded Your Lie in April to YouTube. Because at the time I was really into a game called Demo. It was like free app of the week on the App Store back in 2015. So I downloaded it, really got into it, really liked the music in Demo. So I looked up Demo music on YouTube, because I wanted to hear like, you know, full version without me having like to play the game essentially. And then in one of the suggested videos was Your Lie in April opening. I was like, okay, I'll check out what this is. And then it kind of started there that I got into anime. So that's the quick summary on how I kind of got into anime back in 2015. It was thanks to, I think Demo is a Korean game. It was basically thanks to Demo being a free app of the week on the Apple Play Store. So there's really nothing else. I don't know if I probably would have ended up getting into anime anyway, but that's how I actually got into it. Right, and then we wanted some sparkles, like some shoujo-esque stuff around the swords. Let's figure this out. I have to go now, but I hope you have a good day. Thank you, Sil. I hope you have a good day too. I hope you enjoy it. You got a whole day ahead of you, so I hope you have a grand time, alright? How did you start promoting your work? Once I've made mine, I want to get it out there for you, for sure. I will always say, I never had a big following ever for any of my artworks. So I don't think you're necessarily asking the right person for this. But what I always encourage you to do is start a TikTok like this, because if anything, like starting a TikTok page has grown my reach like so much. You know, just talk about your manga, show some panels from your manga, show you drawing some panels from your manga, and just, you know, chatting about it in general. Like, we'll get people talking about it, getting interest in your work. Because if you showcase your passion for your project, you're gonna get other people who feel passionate about what you're doing and will want to follow you and continue to follow you. So that's my personal suggestion. But also, I don't have a lot of followers, so I don't know necessarily if I'm the right person to ask, so. Sorry, I'm just going to get shoujo stuff here. Looks like a glowy effect here. Oh, that's slightly smaller. And then I'm just going to quickly face down here. I'll put that there, draw some twinkles using my twinkle brushes that I made. Where is that? The stars, here you go. So it's like calling out to him then. I'm just going to quickly preview this. I might need to make this background slightly darker. We will wait and see though. I know you're saving. I just want to preview it. There we go. Thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to start drawing. The challenge is the first chapter and making a hook. Yeah, honestly, like, the worst trap you can fall into is reworking your first chapter so many times. Like, I'm still not entirely happy with my first chapter. Like, I feel like now I've drawn 10 chapters of my manga, I would have gone back and done my first chapter very differently to what it turned out to be. But it is what it is now. So sometimes you gotta just let it go and just crack on with it, because otherwise you're never going to get on with the rest of your project. And, you know, I'm sure with my first chapter, probably people dropped it and, you know, they probably missed out on something that actually they probably really would enjoy. But it is what it is, you know. So I feel like I could have done my first chapter a lot better now, but it is what it is. I'm on my way. You know, so yeah, I might slightly make that background a bit darker. Oh my word, that white is so bright. Okay, let me restart with the shoujo stuff. So if we go, I feel like this brush is probably better. Here, little twinkle brush here. I think that works better. Okay, that should be fine. Is this Clip Studio Paint? Yes, it is Clip Studio Paint. Specifically the professional version, so the more expensive version. Alright, and then I guess we'll do this panel. Do I have my rough still up here? I do. Brilliant. Okay. So if I do the hand first, because that's the easiest. Fletcher's very elegant hands in this panel. Right, and then add a bit of shadow down there. That's enough. Cool. Right, and then should I cheat with this sword a bit? I feel like I should cheat, folks. Did I cheat here? 1 second. Instead of me manually drawing this shadiness to it. Hold. Give me 1 second. Let me cheat. I'll see how the cheating looks like. What am I looking for? This one. I don't know. I could go a bit darker, I guess. I don't know. I guess I could go darker and make the actual blade stuff a bit lighter. Yeah, and then if I blur that slightly. Yeah, and then add a bit more of that in. Oh, that's not what I want. I want this colour. Okay, and then we convert that to screen tone. Nice, and then what I can do, go in with an airbrush, apply an airbrush, and manage to just add a bit of shine down the strip down here. That works. That looks alright. It's Clips, yeah, Clip Studio. Right, and then I think this, okay, this is the metal that's holding it in, so I think this needs to be a different colour. Well, I could just make it black, which might also do the job as well. Because then I can draw everything else in that sort of metal sort of colour. I'm just going to drag this up, just liquefy it a bit. And then maybe add a little bit of shading here. Actually, if I select this, that, and then screen tone that part with 70 maybe. If it would allow me to screen tune it with 70, that'd be nice. You're not gonna let me do it. Okay, well, I'll do it myself manually then. Why is it not letting me do that? Oh, it's because it's on this layer. I see. Okay. Let me just quickly remove that. And then plonk it here instead. That should be fine. And then we draw the metal for the rest of this. Metal. And make sure everything's highlighted. Right, okay, and then going with metal here, screw layer, Oh, why is it selected all of that? Okay, 1 second. Let me fix that. Right, and then is that fixed now? Yes. For the most part it is. Alright, and then we'll add some highlights slightly to it. Right, and then I'm just going to quickly shade that in. That didn't get shaded in. And then okay, and that should do it. Brilliant. And then do the handle a solid color just to make it easier. Same as by here, and then do a 90. Right, and then I will add a bit of a gradient shading to the edges of this. Same with this shape up here. Okay, and then what am I doing for the background here? Do we also want some twinkles maybe? We can do some more twinkles, I guess. Let's have a look. I feel like you guys are slightly angled a bit too far. I feel like I could get you guys more directly looking at my screen. Let me see if I can adjust this real quick. I feel like ever since I moved my camera, it's kind of been off a bit more. There you go. I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it without me readjusting everything. Right, and Jojo. I can decrease stuff like this. Actually, I think I prefer this brush of it, this slightly lighter version of it. And then get some starry highlights in. Put it on a screen tone layer. I feel like I could make Betch's hands a bit better, because at the moment it kind of just, it feels a bit too 2D, if you know what I mean. There you go. Like just a little bit of a gradient shadow there. Just goes a long way. Right, and then I guess we'll go on to this panel now. Okay, let's tackle this. I think I'll get rid of Fletcher's depression lines first. I think I won't even shade it fully like my other panels. I think I might just do flat colors for this. Let's keep it simple. that goes up there. And then 70 for his cuffs. And then 90 for his trousers. Well, to be fair, I can just make his trousers black here. I don't think it matters that much. Then his tie. His shirt. It's a brilliant tone. And then 20 for the back of his header. Alright, and then his shoes is a 30 here. Then 50 for the darker parts. Oh, and then quickly adjust that. Need my pen. There we go. Okay, I don't want to add too much to this panel, so I might just keep it fairly simple. So you'll keep it like that. Let me preview that and see how that looks. Okay, I didn't want that much detail with that panel, so. Thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out, gets the manga out more. I really appreciate any love for my live stream. I really appreciate it. Okay. You know what? I'm decently happy with this page. I'll probably go back and adjust things, but it will do. You know when you get to the point of like, I don't know what else I can do to improve it at this point. I think that's the stage I'm kind of at with this page. Like, I guess I could add like some shadow details with this panel maybe, but I don't know. I feel like that would distract people's eyes just because everything is so bold and black here. If I added like detailed lines in the background, it might get distracting. I don't know. But I think I will leave it at that today, folks. So thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone who stuck by. Again, I've got a Discord server. If you follow my link, which is on my bio, you will find the link to my Discord there. So if you want to chat, if you're an artist, if you're someone who likes my work or reads my manga, basically anyone, feel free to join my Discord server. Again, it's in my link in my bio. And yeah, that's today's stream. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you later. See you in my server. I will see you soon, Dylan. Alright, see you later, folks. Bye bye.